We're live. Hello, everyone. Today we have a special guest, Radha Patel, at SmartMatch TV show. At SmartMatchApp, we do matchmaking software for professional matchmakers like Radha Patel, one of our amazing clients. We also provide matchmaking software for connectors, for communities, membership organizations, peer support groups, business networking organizations. And today I'm so excited to have a professional matchmaker, Radha Patel, CEO of Single to Shaadi, the high-end matchmaking firm specializing in matching South Asian community in United States and even in Canada. So Radhika, welcome to the Smart Match TV. I am dying to learn more about you today and about how you got into matchmaking business and all the nitty gritty details that people love to hear, all the cool stories, how you do your business, how you help the dating singles, and on and on. So, yes, we have a whole hour. Let's go and just kill it.
Amazing, Tim. Thank you so much for having me on Smart Match App TV. I got to say, Smart Match App is fundamental to the work that I do. And so I'm excited to share that knowledge with the audience today as well. But let me tell you a little bit about me. So as you mentioned, my name is Radha Patel. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas, and Single to Shaadi is the premier platform for South Asian singles in the US and Canada. Why we offer matchmaking as our cornerstone, we expanded into in-person and virtual events such as speed daters and mixing so that people can come out and try to meet people in real life. We also offer coaching to help you with your online dating game, packages to help you get toward goals, what you're looking for in your dating and relationship life. And then lastly, we really just offer a community atmosphere for singles to find a place where other like-minded people congregate. So we have WhatsApp channels, we do media, webinars, really just creating that safe space to help you on your journey. It sounds big and ambitious now, but as you mentioned, the origin, I started in 2018, just from hearing from my friends and family. I was in corporate. I was just very well connected with the Indian community, and people would reach out to me, Radha, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? And I was like, this seems like all these singles in my life. Let me just start matching them one by one. And then I quickly realized that doing it on an Excel spreadsheet was not going to help. And if I wanted to grow, I needed to make it into a business and really put some software or some technology behind it. So that's a little bit of how I started about 7 years ago. As I mentioned, now we have expanded. Our matchmaking book is over 1,000 active clients. I've got a team of people that help me, accomplish all these initiatives across the board. And yeah, we've just been working 7 straight years and continue to grow.
Amazing. I am going to take a little back, if you don't mind, because I love stories myself, personal stories. So you started this 7 years ago, and you were in corporate. So, um, w- what really attracted you to the profession of matchmaking? And was it already there before? Was it just waiting for this for the opportunity to happen? Was it just there in you already, or was it something else? Like, you know obviously corporate probably paid well, right?
Yeah.
uh, yes, it has minuses and pluses. You have to deal in many cases with some annoying bosses and cubicles in cases. Depends on the job. What was the job, by the way?
So I started out in hospitality. I decided to pivot into tech, but I always did account management, relationship management, sales. So I was always on the people side of the business, no matter what. And so
Oh, so
you can see,
that was
yeah,
already people side. Okay.
a
Yeah.
natural extension. Yeah. And I think that I was like a connector. I was always into networking. Like if somebody told me they worked in a certain industry, I would make sure that went and met somebody else that I had met, really was always just connecting. And I knew I always had a big community. Matchmaking specifically, I think grew out of that because, I was also of the age, it was in my mid 30s at the time. All my friends and family were starting to get married and pair up. I was also married. So it seemed like it was an easy way to help people out because everybody was looking to be in some sort of relationship or paired up in some capacity, especially when it came to South Asians. So it was an easy way for me to take all my networking and my connecting and put it into a specific way.
So that was natural, right?
Yeah, totally. I think sometimes you're just born with that understanding. Now, I'm not saying that I always make the right matches, but the fact that I want to do this was innate.
So when was the actual click? I gotta start a professional matchmaking, firm.
My really good friend was visiting her. Her name is Pooja. She was visiting me at the time we lived in Chicago. And she said this pivotal thing. You guys are going to laugh, but she said, I don't want to tell my kids that I met their father while I was swiping, like I was sitting on the toilet and swiping on an app. And that like blew my mind that, the dating apps just became so second nature or so like pedantic that it was not even exciting anymore for this young, vibrant woman who was trying to get out there and meet new
Yeah,
people. So if
yeah.
she was sick of it already, there had to be a better way or something different that I could help her with.
And that was it. See,
That
I'm
was
I'm
it.
I'm I'm going, deeper and deeper, like layers of onion. I want to hear the bottom line. Okay, so that was it. All right.
That was what
So
really clicked. And then I had a cousin who was really eager to like, hit a goal or milestone in life. And I was like, okay, let me help you find somebody. And those two stories really put this together for me.
so he was your cousin, or she, or he,
He was my cousin. He was just getting out of a long relationship and was like, Radha, if you know anybody, I'm serious. I really want to meet somebody. I want to settle down. And
and
so
you
then I
you
was on a
knew,
mission.
yes, and you knew people already, and
Yeah.
so he was your first
Yeah.
official client.
Kind of, yeah. And then, that's when I realized that it's not just about putting two people together and it was going to work out. And we went through a couple of iterations and he eventually found somebody on his own. It wasn't through me, but that's what really solidified to me that there's more to matchmaking than just lining everything up on paper.
Yeah, I hear that a lot actually, Radha. I do, talking to matchmakers on the podcast. It's a lot of times they go like, "You look, I don't even mind. Like I do the coaching, I do the prep, I help people put the systems in place. And then they just find their own match. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's all part of journey, part of building community. The word goes around. So talking about helping him and going through certain steps, right? So I suppose you have a system by now and a way basically onboard your clients and then help them to I don't know. There's a lot of problems probably getting confidence, getting having a relationship, breaking a relationship, getting back into healing probably, and then getting back into the dating game could be scary. So these are things I hear, but I want to know yours. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what problems they come to you with. What are the typical or more interesting problems we can talk about today, and how you solve them in your company.
Yeah. I would say the number one thing I hear from clients is I've tried everything else. Nothing else works. I'm going to come to a matchmaker. It always feels like we're the last resort for them. But it's because, my system, my intake process is really robust. What we do is just database matchmaking. So we can take everybody on a one-time fee into the database and I do an in-depth interview with them. SmartMatchApp has made it really easy for me to integrate my submission forms from the website. It directly opens up as a lead in my CRM. And then I'm able to follow up with them and say, set your appointment. It's a paid appointment, but that 1 hour, they really get a lot of value out of it because not only am I getting to learn, their background, where they went to school, how they grew up, things like that, but then we go into
Basic.
sections of
Yeah.
the basics, which, you can put into a form anyway. But really where we help and provide value is that nitty gritty. When we ask them about what they want in a partner, it's not just the filters like height, looks, this and that. I ask them, right, what are the values and what are those values going to look like when you guys are in an actual relationship 10, 15 years down the line? We dive deep in some cultural things that maybe might not come up in some mainstream apps, right? Talking about relationship to family, religion, really getting deep into attitudes around spending and saving, financial things. And then I think what's really eye-opening for people is when I ask about their past history. I just want to know really like, was there something that worked in the past? Or maybe what was their journey that brought them to me when they said they've tried everything else?
Yeah.
And it's really eye-opening because you see their patterns are different than what they say they want in a partner moving forward. And that gives me a glimpse into, well, you said you only wanted to date younger men, but in the past you've dated older. What's going on? It gives me a quick way into seeing or is there something we need to break with patterns? And then lastly, I have them pretend like we're in the future, right? So everybody is usually very eager about, let me find the guy right now, find the woman that makes sense for me right now. But then, you're going to have, after marriage is mortgage, you have kids, in-laws, things are going to happen. So I asked them to look 10 years in the future. And then I asked them really relationship oriented questions about, okay, you're married, you might have some kids running around. Maybe your wife lost her job. How are we going to handle these future scenarios? And that allows me to then say, well, when you were talking about what you wanted in a partner, we forgot these values. So let's add them in. And I think that that 1 hour experience is very eye opening for them. And they realize maybe I was asking the wrong questions when I was using dating apps, or maybe I was looking for the wrong things when going to that mixer and staring at a pretty face.
That raises a question, right? And also provides them maybe an eye-opening moment. By the way, the forms and the technology Radha was talking about, that's us, the Smart Match app. Little plug.
Absolutely. You
Thank you for
guys
mentioning.
make everything so seamless.
Thank you. We will talk about Smart Matchup later. This is coming. We won't skip this part because a lot of matchmakers watch the show as well, and they want to know how to optimize their businesses to guess what, to help more singles. And singles are
Exactly.
watching the show, so I hope you heard how seriously Radha and her team take the onboarding and intake process. They will give you 1 hour of evaluation of your situation, talk about the future, which is very important, to be honest, in a dating relationship. What do you want in the future, really,
Right.
really? And sometimes it's not clear, and causing a problem. um, let's talk about some specific interesting cases that you solved. Let's call it like a problem solving. Let's say someone comes with, and you discover, oh my God, okay, we need to work on this and this and that. So let's talk about those specifics. No need to mention any names. Privacy is very important, but just conceptually, what are the 1 or 2 stories we can dig into?
Yeah. So we offer what's called coaching packages instead of matchmaking packages. That's where we take them on for a 3-month period. And, we go into the online dating apps, help them swipe. We really utilize our matchmaker network, dive deep and put an extra focus on them. But the reason why I think that the coaching aspect is big is because we set up like a private texting channel with them. We're talking with them day in and day out and
One on
really
one.
keeping one-on-one
One.
through a WhatsApp, like a text group, like weekly meetings. And it's very intense. We only tell people if you really have the time to commit to date and go on at least 2 to 3 dates a month, really actively keeping conversations going, we are able to then get them to flex that dating muscle. I think so often people think that I'm putting in all my filters on this dating app. I'm only going to go out with that girl if she hits everything that I want. By the time you match with somebody, then they waste in the texting phase where it's like, I haven't felt a connection yet, this and that. We as coaches really hold them accountable to make sure those conversations are happening consistently. And how do we get you to actually meet in person? So I think the value that we drive is that we're bringing the dating flexing muscle back into their day-to-day life on a weekly basis. I'll give you a great example of one of our earlier clients last year. He signed up, great guy in his mid 30s, lived in Jersey City, had a good track record with dating on his own, but never was able to get serious with anyone because life got in the way. Things were busy. He entered into that coaching program with us. And within, I would say, a month and a half, we identified this person through an app as well, but helped him because we had visibility, helped him really maintain that conversation and push to meet in person. Once they met in person, he had that built-in coach or relationship to ask, what's next? And if he went quiet because it was a busy week at work or something, my team was able to say, what's next? How do we move forward? And then once they were in a relationship, we were able to transition from, okay, well, now we don't need to find you new matches. Let's actually coach you in the relationship to where it goes. So he ended that 3-month program. Last we heard, he ended up engaged. And so things are going really well with that woman that he found.
So it's just getting people to move, to actually start the motion. you know is that
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they feel so stagnant, or it's like, for women, a lot of times it's like, well, I want men to approach me. And so by having us on their corner just to show them there are still ways to be in your feminine while getting that first date, it really has changed the game for them.
Okay, so those are some problems they come with, right? It's just some roadblocks. How do you deal with deal breakers? I'm curious. You know, we all know the famous deal breakers. He has to be tall. He has to be this, that. So how do you deal, or she has to be this and that. So how do you deal with the deal breakers that are, in your opinion, preventing them to meet the long lasting relationship that they desire
Yeah.
at the end of the
No
day?
more than three. And they cannot be like filter oriented deal breakers. So it can't like height. I'll leave height aside, but like it can't be for us, especially in the community, like ethnicity, religion, things like that. Whatever that we can take for granted. But if the height is one that would definitely push back on. Maria Agapi from Agapi Match, she just did a webinar the other day, and she told me she said the best story about how she's like 5'10". If she only dated people who were 6 inches taller than her, she would date nobody, right? So that's such an arbitrary number for a 5'2" girl to be like, I only need somebody 5'10" and taller, because it's an arbitrary number. And you're not getting chased by a T-Rex down the streets of New York. So let's not say that we need it for safety reasons. But I mentioned earlier when we do the
Yeah,
intake
that's a good
interview,
analogy. Like, it's not for safety, then what is it for? You know?
yes, yeah, it's that status or whatever. But I mentioned
No,
earlier,
it's
we do
deeper psychological. That's just wired into human beings, I think.
an evolutionary thing. And that's exactly why she said that we don't have those same evolutionary threats anymore. We need to approach it differently.
So what do we have to do? Evolve, right?
There you go.
You
Um,
help them evolve their dating game, the dating, like you said, the dating skill, to move on and start
yes,
being more effective, more modern in their dating, like what actually works now. Because I heard from Maria. Hi Maria, if you're watching it. Basically, like recently she said, like the physical attributes are the lowest attribute on the five pillar of compatibility, the top being emotional.
right. And so when they have deal breakers that are more like that, right? Like I need him to be emotionally intelligent. I need him to be, ambitious more so than successful. I don't like when people say sick, but like, you're ambitious and career oriented. Like those deal breakers, I'm okay with. But you can only have
Yes,
three. You can only
yes,
have three.
but only three.
Yeah. Because a
Yeah.
lot of it comes from the overarching personality. If you get into the nitty gritty and have like a checklist, that's too much. We want an overarching personality type that you're aiming for. And so having too many deal breakers is not going to allow us to find that.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So, give me some more examples of deal breakers. So, the hive, okay, it's interesting. I mean, sorry, I'm a bit geeking out here a little bit on this, but I
Yeah.
love it. So,
I
so
think
hive,
now,
hive, girls, hive, or it's just ridiculous, right? So, we probably want to not focus on the hive, but focus on what he can bring to the relationship, right? That's
exactly.
the is this the hive, or is it the he will go all the way for you, and be
Right.
there when you really need him? Is this the hive, or he'll, if he needs to, he'll be there, like, to when the times are tough? Like, what is really important in the relationship?
And that's why I mentioned during the interview, I have them do a future forward exercise. And if we're talking about what your relationship looks like 10, 15 years down the future, is that you want to feel safe? Is that what you're kind of trying to portray? Is that what you imagine? If so, then let's analyze what that actually means in terms of height and first of financial success. So I want you to tell me what you're expecting out of the relationship. And then let's see if it makes sense to the criteria that you're setting up and choosing a
Yeah,
partner now.
yeah. And financials, from the attributes, is the second one from the top. So financial is today, again, much more important than physical attributes, for example. Interesting. So I guess physical is a lot of times is where people get stuck. I mean, even if we talk about the swiping culture, it's here, and it's probably here to stay. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be tomorrow, but the swiping culture is very physical, right? You look at the face, and you either like it or not, and maybe it would be the best match for you in the real life, right? you
Right.
swipe it you swipe it to no, and then you swipe somebody who's a totally bad match for you just because of the face or physical appearance, and so you missing opportunities like left
And
and right.
that's where the patterns come in. And I think with the apps, right, they're all built on algorithms. So the patterns really, that's what they're serving up for you then. So it's just like an endless cycle. If you keep
Oh
swiping
yeah.
right on somebody that's bad for you, it ends up being a match. You're going to do it again and again. They're going to keep showing you that person.
Oh, so they're putting in algorithms to serve you. Okay, they're studying your behavior on top of that, which makes me think about AI and the future of matchmaking. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then we talk about other topics. So, how do you perceive AI already, and what do you think the role AI will play in dating and matchmaking business?
I think there's two ways to look at it. One, on the technology side, AI is actually it's pretty interesting. You know, there's some apps out there that are experimenting with AI dating in the sense that like they take your information, they go out, they test it against a bunch of other people, and then they give you good recommendations. In that sense, I like it so that it's not just endlessly swiping and scrolling. Maybe you log in and you only have 5 options for today. It's helping you manage your expectations. Let me take these 5 matches seriously rather than thinking, no, there's a million options behind. So in that context, I think that AI could help change dating culture a little bit right now and managing that endless options problem that we're having.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I forget, but yeah, basically when people just want more and more and more and more and more, and that just instead of digging a little deeper in the 5 matches first and
Yeah.
discovering people and taking the quality approach.
Right. Where I think AI will be a problem, and I'm already seeing it, is with the chat bots where people are crafting, using it to start their messages, and it's like a bot is talking to a bot, and I
Oh,
use
like
ChatGPT.
two bots talking to each other, like
So
having
let's
your
say you
avatar.
match. Yeah, you match with somebody and then you put in a chat GPT message like, how was your day? Looks like you really enjoy mountain climb, da 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 da, right? It's not your personality coming out. And so let's say when that person responds, if they're using a bot or if even if they're not, let's say they're not using it's their own answer, but then you go back to chat GPT again to reply, it's not your personality coming out. You're not really having a genuine conversation. And I've seen this and heard it in my own clients as well. That then they'll go on a first date and that person just clams up because they don't really know how to
It's a
have a
whole other. It's like
conversation.
sending wrong. It's like sending deceiving pictures.
100% using
or
filters instead of,
or
yeah,
yeah, or putting the wrong information in your profile, right, just to attract
yeah.
someone and then just get disappointment. Two
So I
way.
think that the people are over relying on AI to make their personality. And I've heard, I see this a lot mostly from men, and asked them why. And they say it's because most of their time, they're opening messages, and I think these are stats in the app that their messages never get answered. They never get matched. So they think that this is going to give them an edge. But unfortunately, it's just dulling who they are so that when they actually do have a match and meet in person, it's actually setting them, they're starting from a step back.
Yeah,
You have to
so
reestablish.
there's still a lot of tweaking to do, but you find that AI has a place in it. It will have. There's no doubt that it will play a role, just like internet played a role in dating.
Yeah.
Before internet, how were we dating on videotapes or just going to events and stuff? So then everybody jumped on the dating apps, right?
Yep.
And of course, there's a lot of players and all kinds of scam going on, and literally this deception
Yep.
going on.
Well, the
And
same thing that we learned from the catfishing and stuff on the internet age, now in the AI age too, we also have to make sure not to follow it mindlessly. Just because AI recommended these 5 doesn't mean they're 100%. Because matchmaking is one of those things. It is so intuitive. You have to know that person. It's about a season, a reason. And AI is only going to be based on zeros and ones. And at the end of the day, so there is that human element. And I'm not saying it always has to be a matchmaker, but you have to use your human element when analyzing
you
them.
have to use the human element. And you know what? I think that AI is a lonely game, in my opinion. I think that what you need to do is to join Radha's community, for example, and go to events and just be part of community. Build your social capital, build your social skills. Don't be lonely. Loneliness is not healthy. And make friends, and then friends will maybe refer you to somebody who they know who could be a good match for you in Radha's community, for example. I think this is a much healthier way, a much more even effective way to find your long lasting, your dream, like, relationship, if that's what you want.
And
And
the events, I've seen it too, right? People really enjoy going because you get to bypass all that 5 days of chit chat, whatever. You're seeing them in 3D, you're seeing them interact with other people. You get so much more information in a 2 hour mixer about, about this man than you would ever on an app. I also see, most Gen Z and all these younger kids, like they were stuck on the internet during COVID. They're rejecting it. So they're the ones who are enjoying going out to these events, and not just singles events. Obviously, that's what we provide, but I encourage people to pursue their hobbies. And even if it's a solo hobby, see if there's like a meetup group, something that you can do consistently where you're expanding your community and that's not just
yeah.
work, home, home, work.
Yeah, because you're with the technology, you're hoping to replace all that work that you have to put in to build your circle, to build your community, and it's, again, I think it's a lonely game, like, swiping or using AI avatar or bot. It's I think it's counterproductive when it comes to relationships. Maybe it is productive and it will be productive in many other places, but in personal relationships, um, I think you're better off just going to Radha and um, just basically, getting in the community, and having professional matchmaking advice, in my opinion, if it's challenging, if it's challenging, and it is challenging,
Absolutely.
right? So, Radha, let's talk a little bit about smart match and technology, because a lot of matchmakers watch our shows, and they always look for tips and they look for information how to take their game to the next level in terms of technology, database, website, all the stuff that surrounds the business. And we are a lot, in many cases, all today's software is like the core of our businesses nowadays. We just can't survive without software in
Right.
any business. So let's talk about your experience with Smart Match. Specifically, let's start with how you started with Smart Match app. What was your experience? What are your favorite features right now that you're using with Smart Match that help you in your matchmaking business?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I started in 2018. I was using Excel spreadsheets, just using Google and trying to manually do things. I quickly realized that this was never going to be efficient enough. And that's when I went on the hunt, seeing what CRMs were out there, trying to figure out how to automate what software. And SmartMatchApp is and was and is still the best option. I was quickly, I did a demo with you guys and was just wowed, but all the features, everything that you offer. So I've been working with you guys for over 6 years now. And over the years, we've continued to grow. As you guys, it's not a one and done product. You're always iterating. You're always listening to our feedback. You're always adding more. And so I've continued to grow with you guys. One of my favorites, I think the easiest part of onboarding was that submission form integration directly from our website, where we spend already so much time marketing, building out that website. We do a lot of paid ads. When we get eyeballs on the website, we can get their information right away because SmartMatchApp forms directly integrate to the website. So I'm not losing people. They're not bouncing from the site. I'm at least getting their basic information, and then I'm able to do more with that, such as marketing or trying to convert them later. So that was a huge game changer for me. It really helped me get a lot more clients than the old way that I was doing it.
What was the
Um,
old way in
Old
terms
way
of?
was just, on the website, give me your email address. I'll email you a template back, things like that. It was just very manual. With
Very
with
manual.
Smart Match app, everything is automated. As soon as that form is embedded, they submit their application. Because of the setup in Smart Match, they get that automated email. They're able to schedule an interview. That's from the client perspective. Without me touching anything, they know what their next steps are.
And this is not removing you from the personalized approach. It just helps you to save some time in terms of manual typing and manual clicking and the things that are mechanical, right? Um,
Yeah.
because
Well,
sometimes
and
with
I would say the front end, right? Like in the beginning, especially, you're always trying to grow your pool and your database. So if you're spending all this time and money in marketing your website, you need to have a way to make sure that you've got their information, and then you can personalize your approach. But if they come to your website and then they leave and you don't, I'll never know who that was. And then I'll never be able to help him.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to capture, and then you can proceed with your very personalized approach and intake and onboarding. We discussed that, but technology saves you from losing clients, from having clients being frustrated by, by waiting too long, or or not getting the questions answered pretty quickly. So they know they're already part of your database, and then you can start. So thank you for sharing that. In terms of the features generally, so the big thing is the front end. What do you like about the service Smart Match app with your customer success manager? And we can talk a little bit about SpeedMatch, because it's another product we have. So I would love to just to get some feedback on me, on camera today, just to hear your feedback on that. But first of all, the service, like, how do you rate our service in terms of training, consulting, and helping you to learn the product?
5 stars. You guys are amazing. There are videos for everything. Anytime I have a question, I have to submit a ticket. Somebody answers me right away. And even if we don't have a solution, I know that they have eyeballs on it. I think your training is excellent, because during the onboarding, we get that training to get everything set up, make sure the system is done the way you want. There's so much customizability and flexibility in Smart Match that every matchmaker can have a unique approach, yet the functionality still works for us in a way to continue to help us grow our business. I like the fact that I can, being South Asian, we have so many different ethnicities and all. I can basically set up a different system based on all those customer types in Smart Match app, the way that you guys present it. And recently we had an issue where I couldn't figure out how to do one of my integrations properly. I was banging my head against the wall. I watched some videos. I opened a ticket with you guys. And even though it was something that had changed on that other provider's end, you guys really took the time and initiative to like help me figure it out. I had a meeting with one of the customer success managers, and we fixed it like that. So you guys are very
On a live
responsive.
phone calls, and I just tell my team, you can do things by email, but sometimes you just have to make a old fashioned phone call or a Google Meet, and just help the client on a call. So thank you for, and that's probably a good advice for any business, any business
Yes.
owner who is watching it. Service, I obsess about it, and I'm sure you obsess about it too, right? Or service is everything. It can make it or break your business. That's just for all the matchmakers and business owners. Like, just remember about that. This is never to be taken too lightly, never too lightly. Thank you for sharing that bit. We're definitely gonna clip it and put it in some places. I don't know. Hopefully,
Yes, absolutely.
you know what I mean. Um, Let's talk about SpeedMatch. I know you're using it, and it's our newer product, of course. It's for matching people at the live events, video or in person. And I know you have done both by now, right? Using SpeedMatch app for in-person event. So, what's the feedback from clients? How does it help you in your matchmaking business? What role does it play?
It allows me to again reach a broader audience, because matchmaking, it's a time commitment. The way we approach it is not very expensive, but it is expensive, right? There's an investment. By having these in-person speed dating or the virtual speed dating, we're able to offer a lower price point for people to come check it out. Maybe they don't necessarily quote unquote need that help in finding somebody. They just need the opportunity to go to an event and meet somebody. So we're able to provide more to more people by doing these events. We started out by using the live functionality when we started our annual speed dating event, and we would in person. What I really liked about it is, again, the forms, the customizability, the personability was all through. It's the same technology we provide on the Smart Match app side, but SpeedMatch is separate. So I'm able to create these mini dossiers on all of the attendees without actually having met them. But on the back end, I can still see. You guys have the ability to pre-match. So that allows me to maybe set up, hey, I know these X5 people should meet these 5 people. I can set that up ahead of time. And that when they come for registration, it depends on how formal formal you want to make it. Sometimes you can tell them this is a list of people you need to meet. Sometimes I'll keep it very open ended and look at the end after it's over and they've submitted their feedback. Were my hunches correct, right? Did the people I think were going to interact, did they interact?
Yeah.
So on the in-person side of things, we've been using it for about 4 years, and it really, really helped change the game in the sense that we're able to find and meet new people at a lower incentive
A lower, yes,
investment.
lower incentive, but I think it also, going back to your previous point, it's probably one little wheel in the mechanism just to get people out, get
Yes.
out of your office, get out of your apartment, get off your couch, go meet a few new people, be part of the
and
event.
and be social, right? Because you're going to be meeting anywhere between 10, 15, 20 people in that 2 hour time frame. You have to get dressed up, you need to leave the house,
Yeah,
so it's
the
flexing
mixer.
that social skill. Even if you don't meet somebody for a $25 2 hour mixer, you're getting so much more value.
Get off your Netflix screen, guys. Go out there, meet. And what I like about SpeedMatch is that, I mean, speed dating event and SpeedMatch, of course. I didn't mean it to come out this way, but is that it's actually forcing you. It's forcing you. It's not like an open mixer, right? It's forcing you to actually sit in front of somebody. Almost guarantees you, thanks to Radha's community, that you will see somebody today. Okay, you will. It's not like a dating app. You might not get an answer. You might send a message and you wait and this and that. You get frustrated, or you swipe and wrong ways. You swipe right, somebody swipes left, boom, gone. So but here you are guaranteed to meet someone, 5 people, 6 people, 10 people a night, you know and be dating for real.
Yeah.
So I think from that point of view, I don't know anything better than speed dating concept at the moment,
I
whether
agree.
it's
And it really helps even with introverted people, because when it's an open mixer, sometimes you might be the wallflower, you might shrink by the bar. But when it's speed dating and you're lined up, and we're, because of Speed Match app, we're able to ensure that the rounds are moving forward. You have to talk to people. You can't just wait around.
no choice, babe. No
Yeah.
choice. You gotta be. So look, if you are single, right, in a South Asian community in the United States, you don't even have to be in a certain city anymore. Radha can invite you to one of her events. Just go in their description. You're gonna see all the website and everything. The information is very easy to join and send your profile. As you just heard, it's all very seamless, and just join one of the events. How's that? It's a very low ticket entry.
Right.
Cannot go wrong. You just can't go wrong. I know you're
And
watching
last
the
year,
show. Yeah.
I said last year you introduced the video speed dating, and that
Yeah.
has really taken off for us as well. I'd like to mention. So because of the video option, we're able to then offer much more niche segments, and being in an ethnic kind of niche community, that's really important to our clients. We're able to narrow it down by age range, by geography, by occupation, by, married versus divorced, vegetarian, non-vegetarian. We've done such
Oh,
niche events, and in that instance, if location is not a factor for you, you can, from the comfort of your home, now you're not leaving. Maybe you just dress up from the shirt up, but you're
hopefully. Yeah.
yeah, make sure you have pants on. But you're able to then, meet people from home, but still actively be flexing that dating muscle, even in a virtual capacity. So I
Yeah.
love that speed dating app does that.
And join the community. I think that such an easy step, right? Because once you are in a database, once you're in Radha's database, guess what? You will be invited to events, more events, physical, probably as well as video events. But you can start with the video event and join the community virtually to start
Right.
with, right?
Yeah.
So check it out, all the links below and all that, and just take control of your life. Don't wait until tomorrow. Do it today, right?
Yeah.
Radha, I'm just curious. What would you recommend now? We're going back from singles back to matchmakers, right? So matchmakers, attention. If you were a newly starting matchmakers today, imagine yourself 7 years ago, but knowing what you know now. Imagine.
Yes.
Okay. Knowing what you know now, after 7 years, but going back 7 years ago, and you're sitting there and go like, that's it, I'm starting matchmaking business. The three do's and three don'ts for the young and upcoming match.
For the young and
Probably
upcoming matchmakers.
somebody sitting like, I want to start a matchmaking business, and they go
Yeah.
like, oh, three do's, three don'ts.
I would say let's start with the don'ts. The don'ts I learned, and I work with a lot of like other South Asian matchmakers, and I help them as they're getting started. Just because I've been doing it so long, they tend to focus on this is what I'm going to sell. This is what my packages price are. This is what my products. So this is what I'm going to sell, without necessarily seeing what do people need or want. We think matchmaking and it's like, oh, we're just putting two people together, but it's evolved so much over the years. Myself as well, I've learned that I'm not going to replace the dating apps. I can't compete with them just at that level. So how do I integrate it and help my daters who are going to use it? They're like, even if they sign up with matchmaking, they're not going to get rid of the apps because they're still curious. So, don't focus on what you quote unquote want to offer. Focus on what's needed. That would be that first don't. Second, I would say marketing. Don't wait for them to come to you. I learned, as I mentioned, that so many people were coming to my site, my Instagram, this and that, but I didn't know who they were. And so I didn't want to lose out on that. And just, it's okay. We have a specific clientele you might be serving, but just getting everybody in and getting their information, it's going to help you in the long run. It's going to help you diversify. It's going to help you see, again, what clients am I attracting? And then I think the third don't, and this is probably subjective. Not everybody has this luxury, but get fixated so much on the financials. Obviously you have to make sure that you're within budget, this and that. But I think people are so much in like, well, if I get X amount of clients at this price, then I'll cover my monthly nut, things like that. I think that approach it like a startup where there's going to be a little bit of investment up front. It's okay that I'm going to lose this, but then what is that measurement in the long run? Where's that ROI coming from? So really, it might be a lifestyle business, but treat it a little bit like a startup. So those would be my three don'ts. My three do's is personality. I think that with all the matchmakers that are out there, we basically are offering the same thing, right? We're going to help you find your person, whatever, but put your personality out there. What is your unique selling proposition? Why should somebody choose you? Because even though they're choosing you to send them matches, coaching is inevitably involved because you have your philosophy on why you're matching people and they need to buy into it. Your first match is with your client, not an actual date for them. So that would
That's
be a do.
brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first match is with your client.
Yeah, because I've seen it too, where a client comes in with all these expectations and they quote unquote have tried everything else. So why do they assume that I'm going to be able to like wave a magic wand and create this perfect person for them? And if
Let's
that's the expectation, I'm not
yeah.
going to be able to help you because
Let's
there's
make
more of
sure
a
we match
mindset.
first, you and me, as I'm a matchmaker and you're a client. Let's make a match first, and then we'll find you the match of your life, right?
Yeah. My
Matchmaking is that.
second do would be collaboration. And again, this is something that SmartMatchApp is working. You guys have that dating network, that referral network where matchmakers can collaborate with each other. Because as I mentioned,
That's
you
a
might
tough
get,
one. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
tough one challenge, right? To make that kind of platform. It's more of a directory than anything at the moment, but okay.
but it does help, right? Especially when you're working with a client that you're like trying to find a very unique match for them. Knowing that I've got this list of people that are vetted, they work with SmartMatch, so I know they're at least a little bit technologically inclined. They take their business seriously. I want to reach out to them, and you guys make it easy for me to do that.
Okay, that's good. Point
Yeah,
taken. Point
yeah,
taken. Not to interrupt you with the next do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
very interesting.
And then I think the last do is always look for ways to expand. Matchmaking is a buzzword. It's an easy way to get started, but as I told you about my journey, how we evolved into coaching, how we evolved into events and really formed a community atmosphere. We have a free book club, we do free webinars to help with that. I think look at ways that you can continue to grow because the world is evolving. We talked about AI, we talked about all this stuff that's coming out there. How do we integrate that into our business where we're still fundamentally helping our clients meet the love of their life? Like that's our objective, but it's okay. There's different ways to do that. So don't be closed off to trying new things.
Amazing. Amazing, full of wisdom and full of practical wisdom because, hey, Radha started matchmaking business 7 years ago, and today she's a top matchmaker in United States. So everything is possible. And please reach to. It looks like Radha, you're quite open to collaboration, right? Looks like you're not against like potentially raising your next competitor or something like that, which is a kind of a, I think, silly fear, like in my opinion. By helping other matchmakers and collaborating, all you're doing is you're expanding the market, and
And
you
allowing
know,
more people to get the help that if they need it, and more, I don't think there's competition, as I mentioned, right? There's no way I could service all 1.5 million marriage age Indians in America. So each of us need to work together. And I think that just because a client chose matchmaker X over me doesn't mean that they don't deserve love. And so if I can help through my database, through collaboration, if they want to come to my event, even though they're not a client, just be a part of our community any way we can, because our ultimate goal, everybody's, is the same. It's just to help our clients find the person of their life.
it's just that, okay, yes. Well, that's a wonderful mission actually, and there's so many ways to get into this universe. So, Radha, please kindly share the best channels to reach you or to follow you. Even just to follow, to learn what you guys do. Do you have like the most active channels where you post some success stories or answer people's questions or something like that? Social media.
Our Instagram is the best way. I actually have an in-house social media team, so we're going to get answers quickly. You can text us or DM us through Instagram, and you're going to see our latest events the fastest. Second, I would say sign up for our email list. I do a lot, like I do a weekly blog topic that's really relevant and kind of like gives like bite-sized advice in the week. And then, we have a lot of options to not only see the upcoming events, but we have featured clients that are free to match with. So if you're just passively looking, or maybe you're looking on behalf of somebody, sign up for our email list. And then lastly, for matchmakers, we have an entire matchmaker collaboration section on the website as well. Let us help you match your clients. We have a huge database and we're here to collaborate, and there's lots of ways we can do that.
Wonderful. So yeah, that's just another easy way to join the universe and join and just start doing something, taking steps, small steps. Radha, I am just very grateful for your generosity today, for your beautiful smile. I just wish you all the best in your business. And I hope we continue to collaborate and to work together on the same mission, helping people find their love, the right relationships, because right relationships make people happier. They make people more productive, more
Healthier.
just healthy. Oh yeah. Yeah, don't forget
People in
about that.
relationships tend to be healthier overall. So, yeah,
Or
and Tim,
lonely people tend to be more depressed. it's
right.
it's it's just not natural for us to be lonely, guys, and girls, and
Yeah.
yeah. So
And I'll
yeah,
say, Tim, I really appreciate your team. And as I mentioned, you guys are always taking our feedback. You're always adding new features. So, this is a relationship that has helped us grow and get to where we are today. And so I continue to be excited about all the new things you guys are doing
that's
too.
also match is a match.
Yes, we're a match.
We're a match.
Yes.
Yeah, we are laser focused on this industry, on matchmaking industry, on generally even networking industry. There's a lot of, you told me about this in the beginning, that you were introducing people even for business, being in sales, being in account management. I have been in that as well all my life, so I know how important it is to join and do the networking part. So we also cover that. We have a few professional networking organizations using the software to match people for mentorship, career advice, business deals, what have you. So we
Yeah.
are laser focused on this. There's a lot of work to do in our field, just like in yours. You mentioned millions of singles out there. So yeah, it's a match. We are on the same mission. Radha, you are so generous. Thank you so much. I just hope this video gets in front of the right eyes in the right time and makes somebody's life different and better and just changes somebody's life. Let's hope those algorithms do the magic. We did our magic. Let the
Yes.
algorithms do their magic. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Tim.
Thank you.